I learned the other day why people say don't discuss politics at work. I've never been one to steer away from a conversation, but this guy the other day at work, he asked who I was voting for, and he said, "Are you voting for Trump or Hillary? Are you voting for Trump or Hillary? I gotta know," which I don't know why he needs to know, but I told him, I said, "I'm not voting for either of them." I said, "I think they're both detestable candidates, and I'm not going to vote for either of them. I can't in good conscience vote for either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. So I'm going to vote third party." "Oh, you're throwing your vote away!" Grumbling and roaring and all sorts of anger and all this stuff. And I said, "No, I'm not." I said, "You're throwing your vote away. If you don't like either of the candidates," because he kept, trying to say, "Oh, well, Hillary's not the best, but," or yada, yada, yada. I said, if you don't like either of the candidates, but you're still going to play their game, and you're going to allow yourself to become a slave to the system, then you're throwing your vote away. Because the only way, and people say, "Oh, it would be nice to have a third-party candidate, but it's just not realistic." Well, you're right. It's not realistic if you go in with the mindset that you're throwing your vote away. And the guy got so angry that I wasn't voting for Hillary Clinton, that he got into this argument with me, and eventually I just had to tell him, the conversation is over. It's done. And I would just like us to get to a point where you could have a conversation with someone, you can disagree, and you don't have to hate the person or call names or be mean-spirited, where you can have fun. And that's why you need to join us on election night at Cousins Bar for live results, fun, and beer, and all, of course, good conversation. We have a great panel with Aaron Watson of Going Deep with Aaron Watson, a great podcast of our friends at the Epicast Network. We have Liz Victory, who you can hear 24 hours a day at riversedgepgh.com, and Mike McMullen, of course, Sean Logue, myself. Good panel. I am Brian Crawford, by the way, and you are listening to the River's Edge Radio Network, powered by NGL WebTech. Honest, practical, and affordable. Go to nglwebtech.com for all of your web servicing needs. You can hit me up on Twitter at RiverTalkPGH, or you can give us a call at 412-407-2PGH. That's 412-407-2744. Say hi to Brad Ryan.
Hi, Brad Ryan.
He's right there. We're going to be talking with him throughout today's show as well. But I've come to the conclusion that we will be going to war with Russia in the next 4 years. Mark my words. If Hillary Clinton becomes president, that will be her legacy. I've been listening to some foreign media for quite some time now, just to try to get a different perspective, because each country has their own spin on the way that they perceive events going on in the world. So I like to listen to a little bit of American news, even though I can't really stomach our news system much anymore. It's just, and they don't talk about real issues. That's the thing that I like about other media sources in other countries. Even though they all have a persuasion or some sort of political bent, they at least talk about real issues. Yes.
Did you see this morning, I saw via BBC that Soviet Union / Russia dispatched a bunch of warships to go over for a final assault on Syria?
Well, yes, they're working with the Syrian government to try to put down a rebellion that was going on there. It's a weird situation, and it's very complex. I do listen to the BBC, and I like the BBC. That's one of the sources I listen to. Another one I listen to is called RT, which stands for Russia Today, and it's a Russian news outlet that's similar to it's like their version of the BBC. And RT, they cover American news as well. They, like the BBC, where you have BBC America and BBC stations across the world, and like CNN does the same thing as well from the United States, but RT does that, and they have an RT America. And it's interesting to hear their perspective, and I was listening to them talk about what's going on in the Middle East, and there were some suspicions that I have had for years that their point of view almost reinforces what I almost have feared, that really what's going on, it's in the eyes of the politicians, it's a game for the United States.
Hey, just a little hint. Do not do an image search for BBC
Okay.
online, because some of them, like those, they're like that big.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, I was watching it, and it blew my mind. I think if Hillary becomes president, just given the rhetoric, given some of the decisions that she has made in the past and wants to make in the future, and I flat out heard, listening to RT, that they suspect there will be war if there is a no-fly zone in Syria, which is one of the things that Hillary is pushing for, that Barack Obama even says is a crazy idea. It's just the bad blood that is there, the slandering of Russia, and maybe they have engaged in these leaks and this espionage, and if that's the case, it is unacceptable. But there's a level of hypocrisy that comes with that. How many elections have we screwed or messed with in the United States?
We've got to be the laughing stock right now of the world.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And I don't know about you, but I did not watch the debate initially. Instead, I watched a Star Wars cartoon. Both have a lot of fiction, but at least in Star Wars, a good guy wins at the end of the movie.
By the debate, you mean the Special Olympics? Because that's essentially what it reminds me of, other than...
Well, if it was the Special Olympics, Donald Trump would be making fun of somebody off stage.
Yeah, and at least you could admire the Special Olympic athletes, unlike our candidates. South Park does it best. Giant douche, turd sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Well, I did watch the debate since. I actually was watching it before we came in, and I was watching some previously to try to study up on it. And I will say it's the first debate out of the three, or I guess I didn't watch the presidential debate, the vice presidential debate, to be honest. I just didn't care. But out of the three presidential debates, it's the only one that actually talked about issues. It's the only one that brought up issues to talk about, real issues. And I will say, Mr. Wallace, he did a great job of moderating. He's the only moderator, I think, out of the group that did anything. And he did a great job. He focused on issues, and he was hard on both candidates. I thought he brought up real facts and challenged both candidates on different issues, and I really thought it was good. I thought both candidates performed well. I think it was Trump's strongest performance by far. I think he was a little shaky at the beginning, but those are pretty much my thoughts on the debate. I don't want to get too much into the debate because I don't think that they matter. You know what I mean? Do you think that the debates sway you at all, Brad?
No, they do not. They disgust me. Honestly, I told my girlfriend I refuse to watch it because I don't believe in either of the candidates. I don't believe in anything that comes out of their mouths. I mean, do you know how you can tell if one of them is lying?
They speak?
Their lips are moving.
Yeah.
No, so I don't watch it because I think it's all BS and propaganda, and it's like somebody's online dating profile in which they glorify themselves to be something they really are not. And that's all that the debate is.
And I will say the first one thing I do like about these debates is I've said this in the past, is it is an actual debate instead of the years and years of just grandstanding where people just go up and give their platitude and they just trade prearranged bits that they've practiced. This was more of an actual debate. But you're right, the first two especially were... It was all about scandals and things like this, and Trump did try to scandalize this debate by bringing in different people to sit in the audience. A mother of a Benghazi victim, Barack Obama's brother. I know he invited him to the debate because Barack Obama's brother came out in favor of Donald Trump, actually. So he did try to cause some tension and some friction that way. But other than that, this debate actually did talk about some issues. But I just feel like I'm living in a banana republic, and given the situation with Russia, given the fact that we have a presidential candidate who literally rigged an election in the Democratic primary, and when people say that Trump is crazy for saying that it's rigged, he's not crazy. She already rigged an election. She rigged the primaries. Bernie Sanders should be up on that stage just the other night debating Donald Trump, but instead we have Hillary Clinton because she conspired with the elitists in the Democratic Party to rig an election. She staged fights at Donald Trump rallies. That's come out through the WikiLeaks. And that's another thing, the leaks. Every time that everybody mentions the leaks, she tries to throw this blame on Russia, And maybe she's right, maybe Russia did hack it, but if she wasn't being so underhanded and crooked, guess what? They wouldn't have anything to put on her in the WikiLeaks.
It's such a sad state of this country that these two clowns are what we have to pick from.
It's awful.
I would be more into the election if one of them was somebody that I at least believed in or had confidence in. It really saddens me that I have to, vote between basically these two.
You don't. Remember,
You're
in the
right.
beginning of
You're
today's
right.
program, and I would like to see a time where we do have multiple parties. But, like I said at the beginning, unless people are willing to vote for those third parties, and yes, neither of the two third-party candidates will win this election. But if they start gaining in ground, and every time they progressively gain more ground, or maybe they start, as I've said in the past, running in local elections and things like that, then maybe we will get to a point where a third-party candidate could win.
So are you registered independent?
I am not. No, I am registered. I'll be honest, I'm registered a Republican. And I don't know, it's a weird situation. I was very active, and I've said this, my history in the past, I was active in the Republican Party. That is my political background. I was a local councilman in North Irwin, which is right near the comedy show that you have coming up. I could have walked to Painter Town if I wanted to. When I lived in North Irwin, I was a councilman there. I worked for the State House of Representatives, and I was once the executive director of the Republican Party out in Westmoreland County. But since my younger days, I've become more of my own thinker. I've kind of escaped the party mindset, and I was liberated from that line of thinking, and it's become a great pastime of mine putting Republicans down and the Republican Party down, because I actually, honestly, until this election, I thought the Republican Party was the worst of the two parties. I thought the Republican Party was the more underhanded, the bigger of the bullies towards their own constituents, because I've always said, but then again, to re-legitimize what I've said in the past, I've always said that the Democrats and Republicans both screw their party members. The Republicans are just proud of it. Now I just realize that the Democrats were previously very good at hiding it until Russia hacked them, or a fat guy in their mother's couch basement, as Donald Trump said, hacked the DNC. Somebody hacked them, anyways, and it's come out that, God, they have much less respect for their voting population than the Republicans do. I'll be honest, I was a little bit taken aback by that. I had always thought it was the opposite. So, very crazy. But it's just really a disaster. It's depressing.
It's a circus sideshow.
And even the third party candidates, like I've thought about voting for Gary Johnson. And then I thought, well, he doesn't know anything about what's going on in the Middle East, any of these major situations. He can't name a foreign leader. And I remember when he was asked to name a foreign leader, and he couldn't come up with one, and then finally he was pressured, and he goes, Merkel? And he says it like it's a question, like he's really not sure. He's like asking, like the guy asking the question, he's like, Merkel? Like, am I right? And I'm just thinking, like, if you don't even know a foreign leader, how can you run for president? I mean, you can't even name a foreign leader. So, I don't know. I can't vote for him either. Maybe I'll vote for Jill Stein. She's crazy, but at least she's fun. We got a weird news story we're going to be bringing up in the weird news segment of today's show. And this is going to deal with private part art. So that's coming up. You can look forward to that. We're going to talk more about Brad Ryan's upcoming comedy show. And we're going to talk about a new development for local police in your area. My thoughts on that. But we should have Mike McMullen coming up. He should be calling in right about now. Apparently, he can't call in because he's driving, so I'll have to give him a call. So we're going to get Mike McMullen on the phone. He's always calls in with our political update. Oh, I don't have his number, I don't think. Well, we'll just have to... Well, let's see if we can call him an alternative way.
And in sports, the Chicago Cubs are one win away from the World Series.
That's right. See, Mike McMullen needs to start coming into studio. Yeah, that's right. They are. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
That is wild. So, this could be a big year for Cleveland. Can you imagine?
Yes. How about that?
Let's see if we can get a hold of...
In fact, the Browns may win a game.
Right? Here we got Mike ringing on the phone. Let's see if we can get a hold of him. Mike, where are you? There he is. Hello, Mike.
Your phone or on here?
Right here is good. Mike, how are you doing today? Hello, Mike.
Call ended.
Call ended, so we just lost Mike. Alright. Anyways, we're going to cut to a break. Then we're going to bring Mike back. We'll give you your political update right after the break here on The River's Edge.
Hey, this is Matt Geika, your host of Geik's Got Game, 8 a.m. every Friday here on The River's Edge. I'll take a peek behind the sports media curtain, zoom out for the big picture, and as always, obsess over the details of the sports, teams, and players we love or love to hate. It's Geik's Got Game every Friday at 8 a.m. on The River's Edge.
All right, I am back, and I have Mike McMullen on the phone with our political update. Mike, how are you today?
Doing well. Driving to Connecticut over here on I-80 right now. So thank God. Well, thank God there's no rain right now. I was driving up through Katanning and Katanning and Clarion. It was pouring cats and dogs. So the more east I go, the weather's breaking.
Well, there you go. That's good. It's pouring here, but, I sleep during the day, so sometimes I actually like a good rain during the day because then I don't feel guilty for sleeping when the sun is out.
Oh, good. I mean, it's like, look, everybody's like freaking out and all that. Oh, it's rain. It's like, look, yes, it is fall, but look, we've had great fall weather the last couple of years. We're going to have Indian summer, next week or in the early November. It's still going to hit 60, 70 degrees. So everybody's panicking. Like, just chill out.
Oh, I'm panicking, like hardcore. I loathe the winter and everything about it. So I'm definitely panicking.
The older I get in my mid-40s, to the point, I think I'm just going to, I don't know, I'm going to try to do something to find a place from about mid-December till about March, somewhere down south.
Yeah, I would love to hibernate myself. So, Mike, we just had a big debate. It's the last debate. How do you think it went? I personally think this was Trump's strongest performance, and where I feel he probably lost the first debate, and the second debate I think was a tie, except for he kind of stood around like a creepy, like serial killer vibe thing going on in the background. He looked like Jason in the last one, to be honest, like kind of creeping behind her. So I think that kind of tipped things out of his favor. But this debate, I thought he was really, really on par. I think he was on point this debate, and he really had some good zingers going back at her.
Well, Brian, good points. And look, at the end of the day, we've got 18 days to go. And, it's a very fluid race now. Am I going to call it? Look, I'm not going to call it. I mean, we still have a great opportunity, meaning we Republicans. Trump has a great opportunity to really knock it out of the park the next 18 days. It's basically a barnstorm crisscrossing the country. But to get back to your premise of your question, look, he had some good one-liners. He had some good zingers. I think Chris Wallace did a great job. The first Fox News commentator.
The only one that did a good job. The only one out of all of them.
I agree. Or you know what, Brian? Look, as you know me well, as I've said from day one, everybody needs a seat at the table. Not two left-wingers, not two right-wingers. Why not? Why not have sort of like, the left and the right. I mean, you remember, maybe a little bit before your time, it was CNN had it. It was crossfire. I mean, they had a left and they had a right, and it was pretty good. Why not have Anderson Cooper from the left or a left-wing commentator and somebody from Fox News or on the right? And you know what? Then you will get a balanced debate, not left of left or right of right. Or let the presidential commission come up with and let the campaigns decide. Okay, here's three journalists and here's three choices, and you agree to one choice. Look. Anyway,
Well, Mike, I don't think it has anything to do with conservative or liberal in this case. He just actually talked about issues. Everybody else talked about what was going on in the bedroom. He was actually focused on what is actually you're going to do for the country, what policies you want to implement. That's what I liked about him. It had nothing to do with his bent or persuasion or whatever. I would have been perfectly fine with if Anderson Cooper did the same thing. I just want somebody to talk about the actual goddamn issues.
I agree. I agree. And look, he was on point. And look, I mean, Pennsylvania's in play. He was at Ambridge High School after a week ago after the St. Louis debate down at Washington University. He was in Ambridge the next day. Why they picked Ambridge High School with 1,500 people there, but there were like 5,000 or 6,000 people there. And you know where he's today? He's in Johnstown today. So why do Mike Pence and Trump keep coming back to Western Pennsylvania? Because look, I mean, it's not like Virginia where they've written them off or whatever. But here's the thing: this silent majority of the Reagan Democrats from 80-84, and I mean, he had a great one-liner last night, at the Catholic Charity thing up in New York at the Waldorf Astoria. It's like, look, this is probably Hillary's largest crowd at 1,500. Can anybody explain why her crowds are so small and why his crowds are as big, if not bigger, than what Barack Obama was in 2008 and 2012? I mean,
yeah, but crowds got to vote.
Explain that.
Crowds got to vote. It's easy and fun to go out to a big party, but it's not as much fun to take time out of your day to go sit in a room and click a few buttons.
Brian, I agree, but here's the thing. When you have close to 5,000 people outside of Ambridge High School who couldn't get in, why they pick, a small venue? It beats the hell out of me. But the thing is, these people are young, old, and everything. And it wasn't like it was in the evening. This was, the doors opened up at noon, and people took off work and everything to be there, to see Trump, to see the aura, the phenomenon, and all that. But look, it's a fluid race. It's still down to 7 to 10 states going from north-south. You've got New Hampshire. Pennsylvania's in play. I mean, and then people say, look, we haven't won Pennsylvania since '88, but why do they keep coming back to Pennsylvania? Because we're still within the margin of error. I mean, it's still within 3 to 5 points. You got North Carolina, Georgia, Florida now. Georgia's in play. It shouldn't be, but it is. You've got Ohio in the Midwest. You've got Iowa, Ohio, and you've got 4 in the West. You've got Nevada, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. And look, I mean, it's down to those 7 to 10 states. I mean, somebody can prove me wrong. If we're going to win Michigan, Wisconsin, I'll go send you on a beach somewhere, for a vacation for a weekend on my dime. But it's not going to happen.
What did you take away from the debate?
Well, I mean, look, Trump is Trump. I mean, you're going to get not somebody bombastic. I mean, look, he is bombastic. I wish he would have sounded more like he did Wednesday night in the first 2 debates. But
really, see, I thought he did better the other night. No.
Debate. I mean, don't get me wrong. He did good, but he should have did what he did Wednesday night in the first 2 debates. That's my point, if that makes sense. I mean,
can you elaborate? What do you mean? Like, what did he do differently that he should have done in this last debate?
Well, I mean, he was more presidential. He focused on the issues more. I mean, he didn't get off. He didn't get off on tangents. Yeah, I mean, and the one thing is, Wallace really kept, reined them in and really stuck to the issues. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I mean, he got off on tangent. I mean, in the first 2 debates, he was more. Put it this way, he was more prepared Wednesday night. Like the first debate, he just, he thought he was going to speak to a rally and so forth. I mean, he was more prepared in the second and third debate. The first debate, he was just not prepared at all. He just thought he can go walk in and handle it. I mean, he did decent, but overall, I mean, look, I mean, it's down to the 2 choices. I mean, don't get me wrong, Gary Johnson's polling about 5-6% depending on the state. But the thing that scares me, though, Brian, when it comes to polling, and there's no relation to me, people have already asked the question, is that the state of Utah and a guy named Evan McMullen, just like Mike McMullen, no relation, at least. I don't know. I've got to look at my genealogy.
Mm-hmm.
That he's running as an independent. He's really like a constitutional conservative almost. And Trump is winning right now in Utah, but he is like neck and neck with Hillary, like at 26 or 27%. And the thing is, if he wins Utah, that'll be like the first major party candidate, that's ever won a state. And Utah is a very fickle electorate because it's sort of like Minnesota, where it's beyond Minnesota's beyond left of left. Mm-hmm. But overall, I mean, he's a Mormon, and it's like sort of like the evangelical vote, in parts of the Deep South. Mormons are going to vote for Mormons, in Utah, and so to respect to any other religion or so forth. But it's a different kind of electorate in Utah, and if he wins, that's going to shift the balance of power. And the thing is, if it does, hypothetically, let's say no candidate reaches 270, then the House decides. Then it goes to Congress to decide it, and that's where it's going to be importantly. And switching to the House and the Senate, we're going to retain the House, the Senate. Right now it's a toss-up. I mean, you look at McGinty and Toomey, our United States Senate race, they've already spent like close to $120 million. I saw and read $120 million for a major state. And look, it's within the margin of error. I mean, it's depending what poll, but right now Pennsylvania, is a toss-up state. And we're doing well in Nevada in the open seat, Harry Reid's old seat. We're definitely going to lose 2 seats, and that's Ron Johnson in Wisconsin and Kirk in Illinois. But we have the potential to pick up a couple seats. So, I think we can eke out the Senate probably 51-49. If Senator Toomey wins, we'll have 52-48, but we will see in 18 days.
All right, you'll see Mike McMullen November 8th at 8 p.m. at Cousins Lounge. He's going to be on the panel with live election coverage. I'll be hosting. Brian Crawford will be there 8 p.m. until the results are finalized. Mike, thank you very much.
Thanks, Brian. Have a good weekend. Take care.
You as well. In 25 seconds, I bring Brad Ryan back for your weird news here on The River's Edge.
Hi, I'm Mike Storer, host of The Awesome Cast, which you can hear right here on River's Edge Radio. We're talking tech, getting geeky every week with people from Pittsburgh in the industry. Go check us out, awesomecast.net, or listen to us right here on River's Edge Radio, Thursday mornings, 8 a.m. after Funny Money.
As I said before, we have an interesting picture for you that we're going to discuss, and it is a private part art. And you may be asking, what is private part art? Well, I will tell you. A woman decided to draw a picture of Grabby Donald with her privates. This comes from the Huffington Post. Donald Trump's disgusting grab them by the pussy comments continue to spur outrage and inspire protests. A Montreal artist is giving the Donald the bum's rush by painting portraits of him with her vagina. Again, this is from the Huffington Post. You can read it for yourself at huffingtonpost.com. But she did an interesting job. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. You have, if you're watching the video on Facebook, there you go, right there. There's the pic. Try and zoom it in a little bit for you. Yeah, she's kind of crazy. Canada's been kind of nice to us lately. Did you hear Brad? Did you hear about the thing? The "Tell America It's Great" hashtag?
Actually, I have not, Brian.
You have not? So there's a hashtag going around on Twitter right now. It's called "Tell America It's Great," where Canada is trying to give America inspiration and comfort and a good old pat on the back. With Donald Trump saying that we need to make America great again, they're trying to remind us that we are good, we're okay, we're cool. So that is Canada's way of giving us the thumbs up.
Sorry, I just sent you a photo that I thought you might enjoy.
Oh, let's see.
An artist friend of mine
Oh boy, yeah, we're not gonna put that one out there.
No. That was for you, Brian. That was just for you.
Well, Brad Ryan sent me a pretty disgusting picture of Donald Trump, so we won't elaborate.
And Vladimir Putin.
Vladimir Putin, yes. So being very, very affectionate.
Yes,
with
we'll
one
put
another.
it that way.
Yes. So did you hear about this photo?
What photo?
The photo about this girl. She drew like a picture. It looked like a kid drew it because she drew it with her vagina, but yeah, she drew a picture of Donald Trump.
Wow, with her. Wow, she drew a picture of a dick with a pussy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she must be pretty tight down below, but she made it work, and she's not the first one to do something nice for the Donald. There was another woman in Florida we spoke about the other day who sent her pubic hair to the Donald to because of his comments. So
I drew a picture one time. I painted a picture with my private parts.
did you?
Yeah.
What did you paint?
It was quite hard.
What was it?
Difficult.
What did you paint?
Something very small.
Oh, okay. But no, I think this story is interesting. I guess kudos to her. She's kind of crazy looking though. She really is. It was fun though. This election cycle is just bizarre. Like I can't wait until it's over.
Well, Vegas released the over-under line of people who will refriend people that they unfriended prior to the election, and that is 74% the Vegas over-under for people refriending people that they unfriended.
To me, that is so petulant. The idea that you're going to you're going to disassociate with someone over their political beliefs.
It's like Facebook war right now because of this election.
Speaking of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, he's a big liberal, he came out in support of a Donald Trump supporter in his company. It's a member of the board of directors, and actually I have the letter here that he had written. I guess it was an internal thing that was released. And Mark Zuckerberg, the letter says, I want to quickly address the questions and concerns about Peter Thiel as a board member and Trump supporter. We care deeply about diversity. That's easy to say when it means standing up for ideas that you agree with. It's a lot harder when it means standing up for someone's rights, for the rights of people with different viewpoints to say what they care about. But that's even more important. We can't create a culture that says it cares about diversity and then excludes almost half of the country because they back a political candidate. There are many reasons a person might support Trump that do not involve racism, sexism, xenophobia, or accepting sexual assault. It may be because they believe strongly in smaller government, a different tax policy, healthcare system, religious issues, gun rights, or any other issue where he disagrees with Hillary. I know there are strong views on this election in this election year, both in the United States and around the world. We see them play out on Facebook every day. Our community will be stronger for all of our differences, not only in areas like race and gender, but also in areas of political ideology and religion. That's ultimately what Facebook is about, giving everyone the power to share our experiences so we can understand each other a bit better and connect us a little closer. I really thought that was just wonderfully said.
Yes, it
from
was
Zuckerberg.
wonderfully said.
I can't agree more, and that's one thing. And that's one thing that drives me nuts. You get, especially with some of the Hillary supporters now, and you actually get Republicans who are Hillary supporters too. So it's not like a Democrat thing, but it's this this pro-establishment message where they come down so condescending and pointing the almighty finger at everyone. People just love to label someone as a racist or a hater or whatever.
I find this hysterical. I've seen some pretty powerful endorsements and criticisms for the candidates from big celebrities, like Robert De Niro wants to punch Trump in the face. You've seen that.
Yes.
Bruce Springsteen came out and did a video bashing Trump. Yesterday, I saw that Scott Baio, yes, he's still alive, in case you didn't know it. Scott Baio came out in support of Trump. Really?
Wow.
Chachi likes Donald Trump. That's really helping his campaign right now. Chachi.
Oh. He's gotten some of the worst endorsements. Like the Ku Klux Klan leader. I mean, he's just like... He gets all the endorsements you don't want to have.
Yes, exactly.
Or we did get the police. So, but then again, in today's climate, who knows if that's a good endorsement?
Well, John Hinckley Jr. is out of jail. He endorses Trump.
Oh, does he?
As long as Jodie Foster's around, who knows? Maybe Hinckley will come out of retirement.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you care who endorses who?
No, I really
don't.
don't. It doesn't sway me one way or another.
No.
No.
I always like whenever like a celebrity like Tom Brady came out and endorsed Trump. Again, another endorsement that probably hurt him in many areas.
Of course, if
But-
Kate Beckinsale did one of those endorsement videos and was wearing nothing but a bathing suit, I'm voting for whoever she votes for.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. So, yeah, and then somebody was telling me the other day, and this like blew my mind. It was somebody who I think they were a Trump supporter, but they were thinking about changing their vote because they didn't want to offend their friends. And I'm thinking, first off, what the hell does someone else's opinion factor into what you do in a voting booth? And no one's gonna know. It's a private election. It may be a rigged election, but it's a private election. And I don't know. Like to me, like why would you care? Like the guy yelling at me at work the other day because I was throwing my vote away. It didn't sway me either way.
Well, that person that you were talking about could vote with their heart and lie to their friends.
Exactly. So, I don't know. It's a depressing situation. The state police are in the news again. Unfortunately, this is something that we've talked about before on this show, and it was something that was being brought up. It is now passed. It's just passed the Commonwealth Senate here in Pennsylvania, 47-3, to allow police officers to use radar to catch speeders.
Wow. Once again, remember the radar detectors back in the era? I used to have radar detector in my car.
Oh, yes. Yeah, time to bring that back because it's going to be a bad situation. They say that it's not going to be used to create revenue, but everything that this Commonwealth does is used to create revenue. And you know, a little town like North Versailles, which is struggling financially, they're going to do everything in their power to get as much revenue from the radar as they possibly can.
Well, of course they need to generate revenues so they can buy more Narcan.
Yeah, all right. It's awful. And drivers are always targeted. Always. It's always, let's squeeze the drivers. The drivers and the cigarette smokers are always the ones that get hit up the most.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, you've got the radar situation. You've got, again, it's just a cheap source of revenue. You've got the driver's license issue. Did you hear about that? Where now this would affect you a lot because you do skydiving and things like that. Where now if you want to get on a plane, you will need a passport in Pennsylvania.
Yes, well, that's fine. I have.
You
You don't need a passport to get on a skydiving plane.
Okay,
Yeah.
but to fly, to travel, I guess you will need a
Yeah,
passport.
if I want to fly to Arizona to skydive, then I might need my passport.
Don't you think that's ridiculous though? And their thing is they're saying it's going to cost, hundreds of millions of dollars to change our driver's licenses, but that's because they sat on it for
And think
for
about
years
this.
and years and years.
How much does it cost to get a driver's license? I just renewed my passport this year. It was well over $100. And that there is another revenue generator because only a percentage of Americans have passports.
Yeah, I don't have one because I've never left the country. Why would I need a passport? Why would I want to throw over $100 out the window for something that I wouldn't have needed until the Commonwealth decided that they were going to screw up the driver's license and also make a law to make it impossible to comply to the federal guidelines that they've requested. It's just awful.
Just awful.
It's awful. This state is so backwards. Our education system is the most expensive in the country, post-secondary education. Yet, despite all of the money that the students are paying, despite all of the state money that's going in, the professors still have to go on strike. It's...
Yeah, this country is falling to crap. I mean, look here. For the first time in my life, I don't have any health insurance. I went from having top-notch insurance when I worked
impossible.
with UPS for 24 years, and I got penalized with fees because I cannot afford health insurance.
That's impossible. Obamacare is supposed to ensure everyone gets coverage. Didn't you know
yeah.
that?
Well, I'm as uncovered as Playboy Centerfold.
Well, you've got an event coming up, and I want to get into this a little bit. We have some time here. It's the Steel City Comedy Tour. It's tomorrow. It's at 7 p.m., but the doors open at 6:30. And it's back in my old stomping grounds out in Paintertown.
Yes, it is. And it's a fundraiser comedy show for Paws Across Pittsburgh, which is an animal rescue group. And as you know, I'm a very, very powerful advocate and passionate about animal rescue groups. Well, yeah. And it's with headliner Chuck Krieger and Pittsburgh radio veteran Mike Wysocki and myself. They've got some fabulous, fabulous prizes they're giving away, including a $1,200 Penguins basket with Penguins tickets, parking passes, and all sorts of merchandise. They're giving away Steelers tickets for Christmas Day.
Oh, wow.
And a number of other Pittsburgh-themed gift baskets, including Gateway Clipper passes, Dave & Buster cards, some really great prizes. It's $30 for the ticket for the show. You get the comedy show. Beer is included. That's
Nice.
going to sell some tickets right there, but also a full dinner, soft drinks, and there will be a cash bar if you don't want beer. But I believe that the show itself starts at 8:30. Dinner is served at 7, and this is at the Painterstown Volunteer Fire Department.
Okay.
And if anybody out there who is listening wants to support this cause and support the animals that this cause supports, you can call 412-760-8418.
And there's also an email address I'm seeing that you can actually pay via PayPal as well. Donate at pawsacrosspittsburgh.com. So.
And this is the fourth such show we've done for different humane societies and animal rescue groups. I have 4 rescue dogs myself. Chuck Krieger, the headliner, he has 5 rescue dogs, and Mike Wysocki has a copy of Marley and Me. So, you know, we're dog lovers.
So you've got the Steeler tickets there. You're not inviting Mike Vick though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mike Vick. We're going to turn him into a piñata, fill him with dog food, and beat him with sticks.
There you go.
Until he splits open and the dog food falls all over the floor.
So what is new with you though? We haven't seen each other in it's been months, right?
Yeah, we have not. I haven't been. The last time I was on this show, gosh, it was
when Michael Vick was a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Yeah, it was a while back. Just enjoyed the summer, you know, as you mentioned, some skydiving. Went whitewater rafting just earlier this week. I used to be a river guide, and my ashes are to go into the Yawk River. That's how much I love that place. And so pretty much just existing like that, looking for working on my voiceover demo right now.
Yeah, you've gotten some jobs there as well. What have you done recently? I know you've.
I have not.
You have not. I thought I saw something on Facebook that you.
No,
got.
I took a class recently through
okay.
Monster Casting, and I'm currently working on a demo.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay. So I misunderstood, but no, that's exciting though, and that's gonna be an interesting thing to learn. It's something I've wanted to learn. Not now, obviously, like doing stuff for radio and stuff like that, but are you also learning to do like different voices and things like that as well?
It's fascinating. There's a lot of work out there, not just for radio commercials, but a lot of the commercials you see on TV have voiceover in them. A lot of your car ads have voiceover, audiobooks, corporate videos, and also, surprisingly enough, video game characters is very big and provides a lot of opportunities to audition for roles in video games.
Now that would be kind of interesting, especially if it like takes off. Like,
Yeah,
that would
I
be cool.
know.
And there actually is a video game, like at least I know of one company that makes video games here in Pittsburgh.
I did audition for a couple voices for Fallout 4. Apparently that's a popular game.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that the extent of my voiceover career doesn't end up as this. Thank you for choosing Taco Bell. I'm Brad. Can I take your order?
Yeah. He'd be like David Letterman. Didn't he do that once? He went there and he was like the bad window employee.
How about him? Have you seen a picture of Letterman recently?
Yeah.
He looks like the Unabomber.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah, he's like going like all crazy. Him and in Mel Gibson. You see
Yeah, Mel Gibson, yeah.
He looks like like a badass now. Like he looks more badass than he ever
Did in Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that crazy like beard. It's like partially gray but partially white, but it like comes down on like a sadistic looking point.
Well, he is kind of crazy.
He is kind of crazy,
Yeah,
and the
he's-
beard definitely looks it, but it doesn't look like caveman crazy. It looks like a dignified crazy.
Yeah, those. Did you see that? The viral photo of he was up on a mountain and some hikers encountered Mel Gibson.
Yes, I
And he
saw
posed
that.
for a picture with them, and then as the hikers were going down to the bottom of the mountain, they kept nervously looking over their shoulder because they thought Gibson was falling.
Maybe he was.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very crafty. I could easily see it.
What's he have, like 9 kids or something?
Something like that. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. Like I want to see that one movie that he did. What was it called? The Mayan one?
Oh, Apocalypto.
Yeah,
He produced the movie. He did not. It was all subtitles. that
I
movie.
saw. Yeah. But that looks like that would be like a cool one to see. He's done like some really weird ones. Like he did that. He did the Passion of the Christ, which was all
Oh yeah.
that was all done in like the same style where it was written or performed in the language of the people who live there or close to it.
Remember,
So-
yeah, that was quite controversial when it came up.
It was,
because
yeah.
of Jesus Christ. And actually, Brian, are you religious?
I'm kind of, yeah.
If Jesus were here on the earth with us, do you think he'd be into social media? Would Jesus be
Actually,
on?
I do think he would be.
What would a Jesus tweet sound like? A Jesus tweet would be like, at lunch with friends, all you can eat fishes and loaves. Come on down. There's enough for everybody.
Yes.
Swear to
More
God.
than enough, yeah.
Jesus is listening to Stairway to Heaven on iHeartRadio.
That would be funny.
How about Facebook updates from J-Man? It's like Jesus is now friends with Peter, Paul, Judas of Iscariot, and 8 other people.
And then he unfriended.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfriended Judas Iscariot.
In a relationship with Mary Magdalene, but it's complicated.
Yeah.
Or how about, lost my ass on Monday Night Football. Those Saints screwed me again.
That's good.
And that's my Jesus on Facebook and Twitter.
I like it. I could see it though. No, but I don't know. I feel like he would be there on Twitter. It kind of makes sense in a way.
But yeah, so how about you? What are your weekend plans entail?
I honestly don't know the way I live my life unless it's something that I am organizing or have some sort of role in. I literally wake up from a slumber because I sleep during the day. I work overnight and I just kind of wake up and look at the phone, like struggling to open my eyes, and I look at the events thing on Facebook and I just kind of see what I can get to in a reasonable time. And
Well, how about
go
this?
that route.
I'm getting older. Look what I have for the first time in my life.
Ooh, glasses.
Cheater reading glasses.
Woo.
48 years I have really, really good vision, and now at 49, I need these little things to see my phone. I mean, I'm officially old now. I know I'm officially old because right now I change my batteries to my TV remote control less frequently than I change the batteries to my nose hair trimmer.
That's a bitch too, isn't it?
Oh,
When you get that, and they're not easy to trim. It's like I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but I stick it in my nose and I just kind of like wiggle it around on the corners and try to shave that shit away, but it just doesn't want to go.
And it just grows more and more furiously as I get older. It's like somebody put Miracle Grow in my cocaine.
There you go. So you sniffing that with Trump?
Yeah.
Giving him some campaign
Miracle Grow.
pointers?
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and we've got the holiday of the day. We'll wrap up the show, and then I will go and get my nap that I always do, and it'll be good. So, sleepy time coming up. But right now, we've got a song from Boulevard of the Allies, Half the Love, here on Pittsburgh's Voice for Local Music.
Hi, I'm Tom, and I know money.
And I'm Matt, and I know funny.
Catch us Thursday mornings at 7 a.m. Real financial information
For the regular guy.
right here at riversedgepgh.com.
Your voice for local music.
All right, welcome back. Don't forget to catch Funny Money. Good stuff there. Today's an interesting day. So today's holiday, and we always do a holiday of the day. And today's holiday is actually Conflict Resolution Day.
Conflict
So,
resolution day.
Yeah, as we're talking about two people ready to kill themselves on stage, which that is one thing I will say about these debates. At least you know that the candidates really do hate each other.
Well, actually, earlier in the week, I think you mentioned it was National Liquor Day.
Yes.
Yeah, that could also be known as National Conflict Resolution Day.
That is true. That is a good point. That is a very good point. I don't know. I think, I think some people have it right. Alcohol can cure many, many things. It really can.
Yeah, not as much as pot can, but that's
True.
another story.
Well, it depends on what you drink. Like, I feel like wine, for example, is a very happy drink, in my opinion. When I drink wine, I'm very happy.
Well, that's my top drink. That's what I consume the most.
Yes, are you
is
happy? Like,
wine.
do you feel like you're happier when you drink wine? Does it make you angry ever?
It makes me happy until I pass out.
Well, sure, yeah.
But I
Then you
pass
wake
out
up.
with a smile on my face.
Exactly. You may wake up with a frown when you get that hangover, but at least you're going down with a smile.
Yes, it's grape juice.
It is. So it's good stuff. I used to only be a wine drinker, actually, when I was younger, because when I was in college, everybody drank like really crappy beer, and I only drink for the taste. That's the main reason why I drink. And I don't like really crappy beer, like Natty Ice, that type of stuff. So I just would not drink beer. I just drank wine exclusively, and it wasn't until after college that I started drinking beer, actually. So I kind of did things in reverse.
I actually do not drink beer at all.
Oh, really?
I cannot stand the smell, the taste. I have not touched a beer in probably since high school. And I joke all the time. I say my favorite beer is Root.
Yes. Well, I mean, but that's kind of, we're in the same line of thinking. It's all about the flavor. If you don't like it, why drink it? Like,
Exactly.
I don't understand the people who drink things like they'll go out and drink like the plastic bottled vodka. And I'm thinking like, why? Why punish yourself? Like, you can get drunk off of something that tastes good. I can understand that.
Yeah, but that's not people drinking because they like the taste of what they drink.
True. But to me, what's the point of drinking if you don't like the taste?
Yes, but some people are drinking for the effect of what they drink.
Fair.
But hey, getting back to National Conflict Resolution Day, I actually was going to initially disagree with you on that, but
Oh, but
I
came
figured
around.
I'd,
Yeah.
celebrate the holiday by agreeing with you.
Well, thank you. We have the ring the bell. I haven't rung this bell in so long. This bell is actually very interesting. The other day we were giving out some birthday shout-outs, and we gave a birthday shout-out to Tina Walker, who's the Development Corporation president, and this is actually her bell. So she gave this to me prior to my first show.
You pull that bell out, I can't help but get a visual of Will Ferrell.
Yes.
Yes.
Wanting for more cowbell. And my friend Matt Kastner, he's a local musician, and this is his favorite instrument, so I always tell people, make sure you go to his concerts, the Elijah Stark Band, and just wave the cowbell, just ring it non-stop, just like he loves the cowbell.
So in that iconic SNL clip,
Yes.
what was the song that
I don't know. What was it?
in which Will Ferrell was playing the cowbell?
No, enlighten me.
Blue Oyster Cult, Don't Fear the Reaper.
Don't fear the Reaper.
Look it
There
up.
we go. I will
YouTube it.
do so. That's it for us. It is Friday, right?
Thank you, Brian.
Yes. Thank
What-
you for coming on.
Once again, pause across
Always a pleasure.
Pittsburgh tomorrow night.
6:30 doors open. 7 p.m. is the show out in Paintertown, which isn't that far away. So make it out there. Stop by Laurel Highlands Meadery. They play the River's Edge as their house music, so you can get a nice drink on your way to the show or stop by after.
Okay,
That's it for
thank
me.
you, Brian.
Don't forget Fishing Without Bait this coming Sunday, and then I'll be back on Monday morning. Don't forget to make plans to come out election night after you vote, if you've actually paid attention to the election. Don't go out and vote if you don't know who's running. But come out to Cousins Lounge. We'll be getting drunk. We'll be eating food. We'll be talking politics, and we'll be having fun. Good conversation. Great panel. Check that out. That's November 8th at Cousins Lounge here in Millville. I'm Brian Crawford. I'll catch you on Monday. You're listening to The River's Edge, Pittsburgh's voice for local music.